What's up guys, Dan from DesignMYi and GlowMyI here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install the light up mod on the back. This is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to need to know how to get around inside the iPhone and how to take it apart. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Here are the tools that are going to be needed to accomplish this. You're going to need your normal standard iPhone screwdrivers, the Phillips head and the pentalobe. To remove the bottom screws at the bottom, depending on which phone you have, is going to be depending on which screwdriver you're going to need. You're also going to need scissors, you're also going to need double-sided sticky tape, and you're also going to need the light element that will be shipped to you when you purchase this. First thing we're going to do is remove the bottom screws at the bottom using the pentalobe screwdriver. Be careful not to tighten any of these screws too much. They're extremely small and can be stripped very easily. After the two screws are removed on the bottom, you're going to want to set those aside and not lose those. These are very small. If you drop those, good luck. After the bottom screws are removed, we're going to slide the back up and take it off. Of course, make sure your phone is powered down when you do this because we need the phone to be off. After we remove the back, the next step is we're going to remove the connector for the battery. The battery needs to be disconnected when we do this so that we don't short anything out. First thing we're going to do is remove the screw. And again, we don't want to mix these up because these are all different sizes. Next thing we're going to do is pry up the battery connector without losing this little black piece. As you all know, if you've done this before, these pieces are very easy to lose. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the EMI shield. That depending on your phone, that consists of about 4 to 5 screws. Once we've removed those screws, we're going to remove the EMI shield. You're going to need a small set of tweezers to get under the shield, pull it down towards the battery, and take it out. Once the EMI shield is removed, we're going to need to pop up the digitizer connector and the screen connector. Once these two connectors are popped up, you're going to look very closely and you'll see an orange or blue sticker covering this connector right here. We're going to need to remove this plastic cover to get to that connector. To do that, we very gently take the tweezers until we get under this orange safety double-sided sticky tape adhesive. Be very gentle not to pull too hard and remove the whole connector. Once you remove it properly, it's going to look a little something like this. Depending on your iPhone, this may be a different color. Once you remove the orange tape, we're going to scrape this little connector very lightly with your tweezers to remove any excess adhesive that is still on the connector. We need to get the best connection possible. Next, we're going to cut 2 pieces of double-sided sticky tape, very small, to fit right in between the digitizer connector and the screen connector so that we can make contact with this connector that we have removed the double-sided tape from. The 2 pieces of double-sided sticky tape are extremely small, as you can see. First one will lie down right here. Once that's on there, I'm going to peel off this white part, which is more difficult than it looks. So now we have 1 piece of double-sided sticky tape in there. Now I'm going to add the second piece. Right directly on top of the first piece so that we have the correct height. rip off the white part. Now we're left with two pieces of double-sided sticky tape stacked on top of each other. Next thing we're going to do is install the light element. Now if you look at it, one side is all white, the other side has black lines on it. The black lines is the bottom part. So first thing we're going to do is flip it so it sits right. I'm going to grab my tweezers and slightly bend this connector almost in a Z shape. If you look at it from the side, it's almost like a Z. Next thing we're going to do is put the light element directly on top, and we're going to stick this piece down right directly in the center of those two connectors, right where our tape is. Once that's down on there, we're going to connect both these back down, the digitizer and the screen connector. Right, after those are connected, next thing we're going to do, lift this like this and push our battery connector down just to run a couple tests. After the battery's in, lay this down flat like that. Now we're going to turn the phone on to make sure the connector is in the right location and the light comes on. If the light does not come on once the phone comes on, we're going to move the light element around very lightly until it comes on. After it's done booting up, we're going to shut the phone off again, put all the screws back in and put the phone back together. Let's give it a second to do that. Once the light goes off, I'm going to turn the phone around and power it down. Holding my finger on the power button, slide to power off. I'm going to put the phone back down. I'm going to wait for the lights to go off. Once the light goes off, I'm going to put everything back together. If we try to put this back together right now while the phone is powered on, we're going to short out the digitizer and short out the lights. After that has gone off, I'm going to start with the EMI shield and put that back in. Be very careful, and this connector on the EMI shield, this connector has to clip in without clipping this ribbon cable that's already there. So it's a very delicate process. If you've never done it before, take your time. Once it's snapped in, I will put the screws back in the same exact locations they came from, which is very important. After all the EMI shield screws are in, we're going to flip the light element over and screw the battery in. If you're familiar with iPhones and you're familiar with taking them apart, you're familiar with this unimportant piece right here. After the iPhone's completely put back together with all the screws, I'm going to flip the light element back over, turn the phone on to make sure we still have good connection. If we don't, we're going to move the light element around slightly until it lights up. While that's booting, I'm going to flip this over with the light still on just to know we still have a good connection, and I'm going to very carefully peel off the double-sided sticky tape that's going to hold the light element down. Once that's pulled, we're going to tuck the excess cable underneath the light element. Double checking to make sure the light still works at every second, because if the light comes unconnected, we don't want to have to take the phone apart again. The light went off because the screen went off. The light is connected to the screen. If I hit the power button, the home button, the screen will come back on. So now we're going to put in the back with the light up letters and the light up Apple logo. If you look on the back, it's clear, the light will shine through. Make sure all the tabs are pushed on, and then you slide gently until you feel it snap into place. And there we do. There we have it. The light up Apple logo. With the letters, lights off. Wow. That is amazingly crisp. Ooh. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to add the two screws at the bottom since we are now complete and everything will be held together. Nobody else has the letters at the bottom. This is an exclusive from DesignMYi. This is called the light up back cover.